Hello and welcome to Killer Short Stories. What you will find here are a series of dark, chilling, horrific short stories that'll leave your timid baby mind crying for the rest of the night. I add nature sounds such as rain to help you fall asleep, if you can manage. If you would like to share your personal horror stories or write a story for this channel, I will read them and credit your social media. All I require is your bank statement, credit card info, social security, and passport. Now, I've been kept busy these past couple of days, and I have to tell the truth. I may have dived into the dark realm and unexpectedly, unequivocally, positively brought the dead back to life. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could you do this? You're awakening the dead to haunt you forever, you fucking idiot! And you may be right. You only live once, or in this case, twice. I want to present to you my fellow horror family, an additional new member. He is a demon, and his name is Philip. Philip, say hello.
Hello. Can I go back
Philip,
now?
how does it feel to be back here on Earth?
Like fucking torture?
Wouldn't, hell be worse, Philip?
Are you kidding? I enjoy the feeling of drinking the blood of the damned on my skeleton porch, hearing the sinners of the world cry in agony as a hobby, crushing my fists into the corpse of murderers and criminals to suffice my dead soul for pleasure.
Right. Well, now that you're here now, welcome! The living appreciate your existence and hope you may spare their soul in the afterlife.
No promises. Why did you bring me here, first of all? It's been 157 years since I've been on fucking Earth, and I don't miss it.
You've only been here for an hour, and you should be thankful because I bought you Chick-fil-A.
The chicken nuggies were pretty good.
Exactly. What will hurt if you stuck around a bit? Entertain the audience with me. What do you say?
Couldn't hurt. But only for now. I must leave after the episode to be back in time for the exorcism I plan on committing.
No problem, Philip. We have 5 haunting short stories to tell tonight, so grab your popcorn and refreshments, and I hope you enjoy this audio. I saw something in my telescope that I wasn't supposed to, by Corbin Vazana 25. I'm going to start this off by saying that I have an obsession with obsessing over things, mostly hobbies. I'll start one hobby, and once I've depleted my bank account and bought way too much crap to fund it, then I'll get bored and move to another hobby. My most recent one was pretty expensive. Well, it didn't have to be, but when I get into something, I really get into it. So naturally, when I decided I was going to be a stargazer, I bought the best telescope I could afford. I'm single and have no kids, so I don't have a wife to bug me and tell me that I'm wasting money on pointless things. I know I am, but it's fun. And I am a registered nurse, so I've been through enough hell in the last 15 years to have as much fun as I want. Anyway, I bought this awesome telescope that lets me look into space with terrifyingly sharp accuracy. Like, I can see things your rinky-dink little backyard telescope could only dream of seeing. The other night, for example, I saw the rings of Saturn super clearly. Saturn had always been my favorite planet, even when I wasn't calling myself an amateur astronomer. It's the only planet I know with cool rings, but the keyword was had. Saturn had always been my favorite, but now all it does is remind me of my existential hopelessness. It was about a week ago since I first spotted Saturn and started photographing it using the telescope software that connected to my computer. I know I said the other night I saw Saturn's rings very clearly, but it was actually about 6 days ago now. I'm from the south, and down here the other night can mean last night or a couple of weeks ago. So about 4 days after I had the telescope, I locked in just right. I went out and got in my comfy chair on the back deck and got really excited to check out and photograph Saturn that night. I took a sip of my decadent coffee and peered into my $3,000 telescope, and I saw it, sitting there, beautiful and magnificent. After taking a couple of pictures and a few more sips, I noticed something very odd. The very slowly turning rings had stopped. At first, I thought it was a trick my eyes were playing on me, but that wasn't the case. Every single bit of debris or particle in the rings that I could see had stopped completely. At this point, I thought it might be the telescope, so I tried to focus in just a bit more, and that's when I saw it. It was hard to make out at first, but it came more into focus the closer to Saturn it got. It was a ship of some sort. It had definable features, and I couldn't tell how it operated or place where the cockpit was. That doesn't matter. What matters is what got out of it. The ship seemed to land just above the surface of the top rim of the planet. I could only make out small silhouettes, but what got out of the ship seemed to be humanoid in form. But its limbs were elongated, and its head was much larger than its body. It seemed to be carrying some sort of capsule. It was large enough for the being to carry it with both hands, but it was able to with ease. I watched as it casually walked along the top of the planet's surface, reaching near the brim of it. That's when I realized its size. If I could see this thing and its ship, and if I could see it walk a great distance of the planet in mere seconds, then it must have been humongous. I watched it reach its destination and lay the capsule on the ground. It bent over and grabbed what must have been a handle and lifted up. A hatch? Yeah, you heard me right. This thing lifted up some kind of giant door on Saturn's surface. Once he opened it, he retrieved a similar looking capsule out of where the door had opened and replaced it with the capsule he had brought from the ship. Suddenly, like the planet itself had been reset, it came back to life and began ever so slowly moving. The thing shut the hatch and took the empty capsule back to its ship, where it slowly disappeared from view. I was speechless, frozen too. I couldn't believe what I had just witnessed. I tried to deny it, but my brain just won't let me. I'm a completely sane and responsible human being. I would never make this kind of stuff up. I don't have the creative mind for it anyway. Look, I'm not begging you to believe me, but maybe see for yourself. I don't know if what I witnessed was a once-in-a-lifetime event or something, but maybe somebody else can help to prove what I saw. Then again, I don't know if I want this to be proven, right? Maybe we're not supposed to know. All I know now is that the world's gone to shit, and it seems like the events of current history are being written by a toddler. You know how when toys start to lose charge and their speakers start to strain to even produce sound? Well, I think that's what's happening to the world. Maybe after it's all ended and our world stops too, maybe then. Maybe we'll need our battery changed too. Demon Voice by SabbyBoss234. This just happened to me last night around 1 a.m. I was asleep, and around midnight, my mom texted me to turn off my games. I fell asleep while playing video games, so I did what she said and turned everything off before going back to sleep. At 1 a.m., I woke up to gentle knocking at my bedroom door. I was confused and thought it was my phone since I like to sleep to ASMR with my headphones to help me sleep. I checked and my phone had died, so I knew that it couldn't have been it. I heard the gentle knocking again and looked over at my door, just realizing where it was coming from. I was about to get up from my bed before I heard the noise of my mom on the other side. I was questioning why she was up this late, since she never gets up around this time unless it's from the lights in my room. I noticed that while the voice was talking, it was more deeper and raspy than my mom's, but still sounded like her. I got worried, so I just laid on my bed and waited to see if she would do it again. My mom would have knocked louder on my door if I didn't answer, but the knocking soon stopped. After about a minute of it, I tried to sleep, and eventually I did. Once it was 11 a.m., I woke up and immediately told my mom about what happened. She told me she never woke up after she texted me, so it couldn't have been her. I heard facts about demons, and one of them is that they take the voice of people you love and try to lure you with it. I wanted to see what other people would say about it since I've had paranormal experiences before, but the last time was 5 years ago. Pumpkin Carving by TalesByTheCampfire. Every October, my sister and I had a pumpkin carving competition, and this fall was no different. Our mom picked us up 2 large pumpkins after her work shift. My sister and I took them into the kitchen and started to carve. She carved an angry face with sharp teeth, while I carved Harry Potter with the lightning bolt scar. My mom and dad said that we were both winners, but I knew deep down that mine was the better pumpkin. After we finished, we put candies into them and put them on our front steps for the neighborhood to see. My sister and I stood in admiration at our pumpkins. We were standing at the edge of our driveway when I heard leaves being stepped on. I turned around and saw a man in all black standing across the street staring at us. When I saw him, he took off. I grabbed my sister's hand and ran back inside. I told my mom and dad what happened. My dad went outside to investigate. When he came back inside about 5 minutes later, he said he didn't see anything. He told me not to worry, and he made sure the doors and windows were locked. The rest of the night was normal, and we went to bed. Later that night, around 2 a.m., I woke up to a noise in my room. I opened my sleep eyes and saw my Harry Potter pumpkin at the foot of my bed. I was confused. Then I saw a note underneath it. I opened it, and it read, "Your pumpkin is better than your sister's." I started to freak out. I sprinted to my parents' room and showed them the note and the pumpkin. My dad rushed, went into his closet, and pulled out his gun. He woke up my sister and told everyone to stay in his room while he went downstairs to check everything out. About 10 minutes later, he said everything was clear and that we could come down. Our back door was damaged, the window was shattered. On the front porch, my sister's pumpkin was smashed. We called the police. They searched for prints and evidence, but found nothing. There wasn't much they could do other than inform us to install a security system. To this day, we have no idea who broke into our house and left the note. But every October, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you. I look out my bedroom window, waiting for them to return. A Security Guards Logbook by brynnado. 10:02 p.m. I start my shift by making myself a cup of coffee, produced by the coffee machine I have in my quaint office. After mixing the assorted creamer and sugar to my liking, I take a seat at my desk. 10:14 p.m. I go through the motions of clicking every camera in the building. It's ironic that I get paid so much for doing so little. Once I've checked every camera on the public accessible floors, I check the basement. The basement is mostly used for storage, so it's nothing special. As I'm scanning the screen, my throat tightens. I see in the corner of the camera a face. It's polite to call that thing a face because it certainly doesn't look like something that should exist on Earth. If not for the eyes and mouth, I would not have seen the figure. Its skin is as black as the abyss to which my stomach is falling through, with bloodshot eyes and a mouth wearing a big yellow grimy grin. 10:25 p.m. I'm frozen, staring at the screen for quite a few minutes when the figure moves for the first time. It scampers like lizard-like movement towards the elevator. Towards the elevator! I can only sit in horror as this thing scuttles its way over. It's still staring with the same intensity at the camera I'm watching through. The elevator door closes. I'm horrified to think about the creature that may be coming for me. 10:29 p.m. I've locked my office door and tried the phone. It's just my luck that the old phone reached the end of its life tonight. I do the only other thing I know to do, scan through the cameras. By now it's probably off the elevator, so I frantically comb through every floor. Floor 4 clear, floor 3 clear, floor 1 clear. Now the floor I've been avoiding, virtually inspecting my floor. There are 4 cameras on my floor, and 3 of them are clear. I begrudgingly drug my cursor to the 4th camera and click. My heart sinks as I lock eyes with the creature who is staring right at me, except not through the camera lens this time. It Never Leaves You by Lights and Gone. You always count your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over and over again, praying for a peace that is slow to come. You know it'll be back tonight, as sure as rain hitting the pavement makes it slippery. It comes every night, and when it does, you feel part of your soul slip out and leave your body. That thing takes it piece by piece. You feel it even now. You can feel how empty it's leaving you, and you are more hollow every night. Soon you'll be nothing more than a withered husk of everything that you once were, and everything that you could have ever been. The funny thing about watching your own demise is that it hurts. You just get to spectate and cry for yourself, knowing there's absolutely nothing that can be done. You've been doing this for so long now that you've learned how to adapt, created your own little list of rules that stay nestled deep in your brain, ways you can make this less painful for yourself. Can you even remember how old you were when it first slipped into your room, quiet as a shadow? Could you even hear your door open? One moment it was closed, the next it just wasn't. You couldn't even see it, but you could feel it there with you, couldn't you? Heavy, weight, not even distributed, sitting on your chest, facing you. Remember trying to fight it, swiping, trying to bite, trying to do anything you could think of to get it off of yourself. Then nothing. You couldn't move. You couldn't even blink. It was as if all the blood in your veins turned to ice and slush, searing, unbearable pain. Unable to scream, unable to do anything, forced into stillness. That was how you learned the first rule: never fight back, right? Still you refused to lay idly by and do nothing. Years and years of whatever this was coming in, tormenting you, stealing pieces of you that it had no business taking. Tonight is the night you decided that you have had enough, and you were going to fight back against it, no matter the cost. So you count your fingers. You remember to breathe. Keep it even. Don't let yourself feel that fear coursing through every atom of your body. It takes more of you when you're afraid. It's almost as if it finds your terror delicious. Grass-fed cow, fear-fed soul. You kicked yourself when you realized you hadn't thought of it before. A possible solution to the problem that's been breaking you into tiny pieces. A light at the end of the tunnel. Literally. You feel for the flashlight that's tucked against you, making sure it is a quick and easy reach away when you feel that pressure on your chest, threatening to break your body in two, tucking it out of sight from the creature, not even sure if it has eyes. You wait for what seems like an eternity, endlessly counting to 5. Then it comes. You feel the dread wash over you. You briefly think that you'd prefer to be burned alive at the stake than suffer like this any longer. You feel it settle in on top of you, hands pressing into your skin, where they've always made their home, wincing as they press into the bruises it has left night after night that have never had a moment to heal. Choking for air as you feel more of yourself slip out. You know you have to act before it's able to take everything you have worked so hard for. You reach for the flashlight, a final moment of truth, a way to scare off this intruder that has been haunting you longer than you can remember. A quick flick of the switch, and all at once the face comes into perfect view, and there you are, staring up at your own sneering face. Thank you so much for listening to this entire audio. Philip, what did you think?
Like music to my ears.
Pretty horrifying, right?
Yes, yes indeed, yes. Well, I have to go now. I have to go to my exorcism, but I will be back. And I hope to see more chicken nuggets. Possibly. You do that for me.
Yeah, of course, Philip. Anything you want. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to this audio once again, and I hope that you have left a comment, a like, and subscribe to this channel, because if you did not, I will send my demon Philip to eat your soul. Anyways, I love every single one of y'all, and I hope that you have an amazing night. Peace.
Peace, bitch.
Fuck you, Philip.